One is a quiet leader who's held down the trenches for 6 seasons. The other is the emotional heartbeat of the franchise, currently holding out for a monster deal. Daron Payne and Terry McLaurin are two pillars of the Washington Commanders, and right now, both are standing at contract crossroads. What happens next could define this team's future beyond 2025. If you want both of them back in burgundy and gold, smash that like button, subscribe to Commanders HQ, and let's break it all down. No filter, no fluff. Since being drafted 12th overall in 2018, Daron Payne has been a quiet but dominant force in the middle of Washington's defensive line. He's played through coaching changes, quarterback chaos, and defensive overhauls. And now, entering the final year of his 4-year, $90 million deal, Payne may be the last man standing from the once vaunted Allen Payne duo. According to John Keim of ESPN, the numbers speak for themselves. Payne will count for $28 million against the 2026 salary cap if extended, but the team could save $16.8 million by releasing him after this season. Let that sink in. A $16.8 million cap decision looms, and it's tied to one of the team's longest tenured and most respected veterans. Let's rewind to 2022. Payne was playing under the franchise tag. There were questions about his ceiling, his consistency, and whether the team would move forward with him or Jonathan Allen. Payne responded with a career-high 11.5 sacks, became a Pro Bowler, and secured that $90 million extension. But since then, just 8 sacks in 2 seasons. Production dipped, injuries played a role, and the whispers started again. Was 2022 a fluke? Still, the Commanders haven't wavered in support, at least not publicly. Keim reports multiple voices in the building singled Payne out during OTAs for his leadership, focus, and even a more relaxed vocal demeanor. He looks more outgoing, more comfortable, and ready to lead this new era of Commanders football. Here's where things get tricky. The Commanders moved on from Jonathan Allen this offseason. Many believe that was a calculated move to create financial space and ensure the future runs through Payne. But Adam Peters also drafted Jer'Zhan Newton, who enters year 2 with sky-high upside. They're preparing for life after Payne, just in case. So the question becomes, do you pay for Payne's proven value, or roll with a cheaper, younger DT room and use that money elsewhere? It's a hard call, but it's one Washington has to make before 2025 ends. And it all depends on Payne's performance this season. If he returns to 2022 form, there's no way you let him walk. But if the decline continues, Peters may make the tough and smart business move. While Payne handles his business quietly, Terry McLaurin's contract standoff is playing out under the bright lights. And now, a new wrinkle. According to Mike Fisher, the rumored number that's circulating is $37 million per year. Let's be clear, that would make McLaurin the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. More than Jefferson, more than Hill, more than A.J. Brown. Fisher didn't hold back. Either the report is outrageous or the demand is outrageous. And this could explain the stalled talks. Washington respects McLaurin deeply. They view him as essential to Jayden Daniels' development and a leader of the locker room transformation. But $37 million? That's an own-the-cap number. The wide receiver market has exploded in 2025. We've seen deals reset the position. Justin Jefferson, $35 million APY. A.J. Brown, $32 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Waddle, $28 to $30 million. McLaurin, who turns 30 next year, wants to be in that tier, or maybe above it. And to be fair, he's earned respect. He's posted 5 straight 1,000-plus yard seasons, 13 touchdowns in 2024, a career high, and all while catching passes from 9 different QBs in his career. But the age factor can't be ignored. Teams rarely throw $100+ million at receivers heading into their 30s unless they're still ascending. Washington's front office has to weigh loyalty versus longevity, production versus projection, market value versus team structure. Let's zoom out. This offseason has been about one thing: setting up Jayden Daniels to succeed in year 2. They brought in Laramie Tunsil to lock down his blindside, Deebo Samuel to create yak nightmares, and Josh Connerly Jr. as the left tackle of the future, and retained Cliff Kingsbury to keep system continuity. Terry McLaurin is a huge part of that equation. He's Daniel's safety valve, his trusted wide receiver one, and a tone setter on and off the field. If McLaurin isn't on the field in camp, it could slow development, create tension, and send the wrong message to the locker room. The same goes for Payne. Lose both of them in 2026, and suddenly this rebuild feels fragile. Back in the 2023 offseason, the Commanders' offensive line was a mess. Charles Leno Jr. was doing his best at left tackle, but his limitations were clear. The right side? Even worse, a constant liability. Everyone was clamoring for a major upgrade, and at the top of almost every analyst's wish list was Jawaan Taylor, fresh off a solid stint with the Jaguars. He was athletic, young, and projected to be one of the top-paid right tackles in the league. But instead of throwing money at the problem, Ron Rivera took a different route. Washington signed Andrew Wiley, someone with clear ties to offensive coordinator Bieniemy from their Kansas City days. At the time, the move was underwhelming. Now, it looks like a franchise-saving decision. While Washington played it safe, the Kansas City Chiefs went all in. They gave Jawaan Taylor a massive 4-year, $80 million contract. They expected him to be their long-term answer at right tackle. But what they got was a penalty machine. In the 2024 season alone, Taylor was flagged 17 times, leading the league in penalties among offensive linemen. His technique was exposed week after week, and according to Pro Football Focus, he graded out as just the 82nd best tackle out of 140 qualified players. NFL Spin Zone's Luis Catalia labeled Taylor as the worst contract on the Chiefs roster heading into 2025. He even suggested Taylor could be cut if things don't turn around quickly. Kansas City already had to release Pro Bowl guard Joe Thuney to make financial room, and now Taylor's deal is looking like an anchor tied around the franchise. Can you imagine if Washington had been the one to sign him? Andrew Wiley hasn't been perfect in Washington, but he's been steady. He didn't give up a single sack last season and kept his penalties in check. Still, he struggled against speed rushers and had trouble holding his own on an island. That's why Adam Peters knew this unit needed an overhaul. In 2025, Peters made it his mission to protect Jayden Daniels at all costs, and he went to work. He pulled off a blockbuster trade for Laramie Tunsil, a 5-time Pro Bowl left tackle, one of the best pass protectors in the league. That alone sent a clear message. The Commanders were done playing it safe in the trenches. Then, in the first round of the draft, Washington selected Josh Conerly Jr., one of the most athletic tackles in the class. The plan is for Conerly to win the right tackle job sooner rather than later. With those two moves, Wiley shifts into more of a depth role, possibly at guard or swing tackle, a valuable presence but no longer counted on as the anchor. Compare that to paying Jawaan Taylor $20 million per year to commit double-digit penalties. Yeah, it's not even close. Let's not forget what this is really all about, protecting the franchise. Jayden Daniels was sacked 47 times during his Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign, and yet he still delivered magic, showing why he's the future of this franchise. The 2025 offensive line isn't just improved, it's transformed. Daniels now has elite blindside protection in Tunsil and a high-upside rookie developing quickly on the right. He's got time, he's got rhythm, he's got a real shot to take the next leap. And it all started because the Commanders refused to overpay for the wrong guy. Look, we've all been critical of Ron Rivera's tenure, rightfully so. But every now and then, even in a rough stretch, you get a win, and this was one of them. Ron didn't panic. He didn't chase the shiny free agent. He went with a guy he trusted in Wiley, and more importantly, he kept the Commanders flexible. No dead cap anchor. No overblown contract. That financial flexibility gave Adam Peters the room to move aggressively this offseason, and the Commanders are now reaping the rewards. The 2025 offensive line is more than just upgraded. It's built to contend in the NFC. It reflects a front office that understands roster building in today's NFL. It's not about headlines. It's about sustainable, smart moves that support your quarterback. Tunsil, Conerly Jr., Wiley, Cosmi, Stromberg. This isn't a patchwork group anymore. It's a real foundation. And it proves that sometimes the best decision is the one you don't make. So now we throw it to you, Commanders HQ fam. Would you extend Daron Payne beyond 2025 or let Jer'Jon Newton take over? Is Terry McLaurin worth $37 million per year? Or has this negotiation gone off the rails? Can Adam Peters keep both cornerstone players, or will one be sacrificed for cap flexibility? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want all the fire and insight from the smartest fan base in football. Be sure to like the video if you think these guys deserve to stay in burgundy and gold, and hit that subscribe button for daily Commanders news, rumors, and real talk. The future is bright, but it's also expensive. Decisions are coming, and the time for debate is now. Let's build the future without forgetting who brought us here.